What's up, everyone? All right, well, I ruined my week. I had a goal of having a fifth five-figure day in a row, finishing Friday with at least $10,000 of profit. That would have put me up $57,000 on the week. Instead, I've got five something. I'm down $5,000. That's disappointing. I'm up about $1,100 in my retirement account. I'm down $6,300 in my main account, and I just couldn't find the MOMO today. My biggest loss was on BIMI, B-I-M-I. This is the one that has given us a wild ride this week, and I jumped in. I had it on watch pre-market at 560, but it broke 560 and squeezed right to 650, and I jumped in as it broke 6, getting in at 618, adding at 650, adding at 680, thinking it was going to squeeze through 7, and then it pulled back down to 6. And this is the challenge with my strategy, that oftentimes as I see momentum, I add as the stock is squeezing up, which works great in a hot market, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it works great. But today, you know, I ended up adding at the very top, thinking it was going to go into a circuit breaker halt, daily continuation, move up towards $7, $8, and it just kind of was that high watermark, and then it pulled back down. And so I lost about $4,500 on that trade. One of the things that's tough as a trader is that, especially for me, I'm very competitive. And so I'm always trying to set, I'm trying to set my new daily record. I like, play Tetris, I'm trying to set a new record. Well, it doesn't matter what I'm trying to set a record. And so I'm trying to set, a record for my new biggest green day. I'm trying to set a record of 5 green days in a row. My last 5-figure days in a row. And so that competitiveness, if you think about like a race car driver, and those of you guys who have just gone on a track, whether you're driving a race car, you're doing any type of kind of race, sometimes when you're pushing really hard, you're sort of you're at the very, very edge of your limits, or maybe the edge of the limit of the machine. You're going around the track and the car gets a little squirrely, and the tail starts to swing out, and you oversteer, understeer, and then you're back in line. And that's the way you have to drive to get that best lap time, to get in the first place. You have to be on the edge of in control, of out of control. And now, of course, you could just take a leisurely lap around the track, but you're not going to set any records doing that. I have two problems. Number one, I have two scorecards. I've got my broker statement scorecard, and then I've got my YouTube views scorecard. You guys. And the problem is, I know you guys love those big green days. I know you guys also love those big red days, and I can't help but feel like, man, I want to drop a 5th consecutive 5-figure day for the community. And so I have these two scorecards, and they don't always align in terms of trading strategy, because ultimately what's really best for my broker statement is probably just to hit lots of consecutive base hits. Just get on base, get on base. And on BIMI today, when I was in with 12,000 shares, if that had broken 7, halted going up, I would have been looking at another 5-figure day. No question about it. But it flipped the other direction, and so I took my $4,000 loss. I risked $4,000 to make $8,000, but risking $4,000, certainly, that's not base hit trading. That's going for solid home runs. Of course, you could say that we're in a market where it makes sense to do that. And so I think that challenge for me as a trader and as someone that's producing content for you guys, and for someone who's competitive, is that I often am right on that edge of, where things start to get a little squirrely, where they get a little crazy, where I've got that big position size. It's either going to be, or I'm off in the grass, and today's a day where I'm off the track. I'm down $5,000, which isn't the end of the world by any means. I ruined my week only in the sense that I ruined my, self-created goal of a 5-figure day, 5-figure days in a row. You know what? I'm up $40,000 on the week. It's been a killer week, and momentum is definitely back in the market. And you know what? BNGO is currently up 109% right now, 109%. So we still have momentum, and I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for the rest of October, November, and December, and of course January. And I think there will be some times where I'll be able to hit a couple more home runs this year, but there'll also be some days where I gotta stay focused on the broker statement side. I need to finish each month green. I need to continue to be consistently profitable. And you know, the people out there that do throw down 6-figure days once every couple months, that's impressive, but ultimately a couple 6-figure days and then, you know, dozens and dozens of 5-figure losses, well, at the end of the day, they might balance each other out and you have a break-even trader. So you've got those big swings in the P&L, and I really don't want that too much. I mean, I want the swings to the upside without the downside, and that of course is the challenge. Now, I made a note to myself here about my pattern as a trader. And don't be confused about the pattern day trader rule or trading patterns, but my behavior patterns as a trader. And this behavior pattern to sometimes step up for the home run and to go for that really big win and then strike out is something that you see in my trading. And after I have a big miss like today, or some that are even bigger where I lose 10 or 15 grand, for the next few days and few weeks, I bring it back to focus, disciplined trading, cool, calm, collected. But then ultimately, those behavior patterns, they come out. Whatever that weakness is for you. Now, it might be different for you, but for me, it's that sometimes I swing for the fences and I go for that big, you know, Hail Mary pass, because sometimes it pays off. Sometimes I get, you know, that huge trade, the $30,000, $40,000 winner. I don't know if that would have happened today, but I think it's important to be mindful of those kind of emotional patterns, and at a certain point, to let yourself off the hook for them. I'm a trader that is up well over $300,000 this year. This year, no doubt, I've had a couple of really big losses because I was swinging for the fences. Sometimes it was emotional, sometimes it was based on market data, but a feature of the way I trade is that I'm competitive, I want to set records, I want to go big, and when you trade like that, sometimes, you know, you get hurt, and that's just part of the deal. And I have to, rather than get angry at myself that, you know, I've done it again, accept that this is part of my pattern as a trader. A pattern that has produced over $1 million from an account of less than 600. The strategy works, but part of the pattern is sometimes having that setback. And I had a little one today. So let's get into the charts and let's break down the details of today's trades. All right, so we're gonna get into the details of the recap today. This was not the prettiest day that I've ever seen, down $6,239 in my main account, but up $1,100 in the retirement account. Cha-ching. So I'm down about 5 grand. That's kind of disappointing. You know, I set this goal of this being my 5th 5-figure day in a row, and BIMI killed that chance for me. So let's look at the BIMI trade. This is the one that got me good, and I do have a trade here of BIMI in my E-Trade account. All right, now I've got a separate video that I'm gonna be putting out where I'm gonna talk about this E-Trade account, and I'm gonna talk about my new TD Ameritrade account. So you guys better watch that video. I'm gonna upload it later tonight. But in any case, I made $1,400 in my E-Trade account with a 3,000 share position on BNGO. So actually, I guess I'm only down 40, I don't know, was that 3,500? So, you know, but the thing is, no, this is real money. Yeah, and this is a real money account. It's got 27,000. Well, no, it's got, I think 27,000 is net value after today's profit, because it only had like 25,000 that I put in. But as you guys will see in the video, I set up an Ameritrade account and an E-Trade account because I want to get to the bottom of this zero commission stuff, and I want to figure out which of these brokers is really the best. Because I'm paying a lot of money at Lightspeed for direct access routing. I want to know that it's worth it. My first trade on BIMI today was, it was actually not that great of a trade. I got some slippage. So let's look at this. So let's look at it. All right, so BIMI, this one was on watch pre-market because yesterday I traded it, made some money, and this morning it was actually gapping up to 560 with some news. So I said, okay guys, this is one to watch over 560. So I type it in here, BIMI, I put my order at like 560 or something like that, ready to go. The bell rings and it starts to squeeze up to 560, but it was on very light volume. It hit 572 and then dropped back, big spreads. So I left it alone. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. And then it rips through here and goes to 582, and then on this candle here to 621, and this is where I jumped in, right on this candle. So I jumped in as it was squeezing up. I tried to get in for the break of 6. So in my in this account here, when I pressed this buy button, I bought with a market order for 3,000 shares BIMI at 9:40 a.m. So, you know, that's right on this candle here. And when I clicked it, what I saw in the ask was 6. When I looked at what I got filled at, I got filled at 6.14. So that's 14 cents of slippage. Well, maybe just the first day, maybe obviously a stock with a little bit of spread. So I was in that there, and I took the trade here first, and then I just clicked this, and then I came over here and pressed shift 1, shift 1, shift 1. And so my average cost was actually 659 in this account. So I'm in it at 659. It squeezes up to 688. I've got 12,000 shares. I was expecting an immediate break of 7 and continuation from yesterday's move, maybe a test of 750 or 8. So it hit 688. I'm up 30 cents. That's $3,600. It then drops down to 32. I'm waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. That happened right here to 72. It then dropped. I didn't want to stop out. The thing, of course, with a large position is that you can't, unlike with a 2,000 share position where you can just jump in and jump out and you don't get a lot of slippage. With 12,000 shares, you can't just jump in and jump out. So the breakout or bailout technique does not work as well with big share size. So you kind of have to sit with it, because if you bail on the 12,000, you're gonna get slippage as it drops. And then when you get back in, you get slippage when you get back in. So you want to be really 100% sure that you don't like it or that you do like it. And so I held, it hits a high of 80 and then whoop, it reverses here, and I stopped out coming back down, and that cost me 4,800 bucks. So, and I had already taken a couple trades when that happened. So that was a pretty disappointing, you know, that was a disappointing finish to the day, basically, to take that big loss. But with my E-Trade account, I did take profit a little faster. Of course, I had a better entry, and I was like, well, you know, I guess I'll just take the profit at 943, which was kind of right in here. I just figured I'd better be safe, because that account's was only like $500 above the PDT level. So I figured I'll just lock up the profit and I'll focus on my main account, which has more risk anyways in dollar amounts. It came up here, I didn't sell. I was looking for the break of 88 and then stopped out as it came back down. So that was disappointing. And, you know, I was red on ATIS. This one was our leading gapper today, but although it popped up here, it was choppy, and so I lost $138, only to watch it rip without me. DTSS, this was a trade that I took, again, into a little bit of a spike that didn't follow through. So really quite a lack of follow through today, except on BNGO, which has held up, actually, well, I guess it's coming back down now, but had been holding up pretty well. Breaking the pre-market high and squeezing up here to 210, pull back and moving higher. So I want to mention for you guys, I had a couple questions about these indicators here, this right here. So the indicators that I have in my chart, we talk about these in the Warrior Pro class. Steve has a pretty extensive class where he talks about them as well. So I'm just gonna delete, I have them doubled up here. So what you have on the charts right now are two indicators. One is the volume profile, and that's the market map right here. So I took that off, and then if I snap it back on, you'll see how it pops back on. So it's kind of interesting because this is a different interpretation of volume, and what it helps you understand, kind of like VWAP, are the price points that have the highest volume. Why is that helpful? Well, price points that have high volume are often periods of consolidation. Okay, so this right here was a period of consolidation. And what you know is that when stocks break out of those high consolidation periods, they often start to move fast. And so this moved quickly as soon as it broke out of this zone right here, which is not surprising. Now, this stock has two periods of heavy consolidation, one right down in here, and the other was right up here. If it had been able to break over this level and hold over that level, it would have looked really good, but as it tested the top area, it ended up coming back down. So I find this indicator to be somewhat helpful when looking at stocks with incredibly high volume, because it helps me see the pockets where as it's coming back down, it might drop right back down into this consolidation area, or it might bounce off the low of it for a second as it did there. And generally, with these higher volume stocks, I need to use more technical indicators because the level 2 becomes a little more difficult to read. When you've got, as we have on BNGO, 64 million shares of volume, the tape starts to show false breakouts. And so that's when I start to rely a little bit more on some of these indicators to help me confirm what I'm seeing in the chart, since I don't have the level 2 to kind of lean on. So anyways, so then I got my trade there on BNGO, and I was okay taking that trade because I knew I was green here. So my profits are kind of on the side of the retirement and this E-Trade account. And on my main account, I had a little bit of a setback. But in terms of the net, I'm actually net down only, a little less than $4,000. So 48 minus 11 is 3,700. So it's not the end of the world type of day. But yeah, so anyways, I do encourage you guys later today, I'm going to upload my videos on the new Ameritrade account, the new E-Trade account, and I would encourage you to check those out and comment below and help give me some tips and tricks on how to trade with these platforms a little bit better, because I'm not as familiar with either E-Trade or Ameritrade at this point. But I will do the best that I can and hopefully be able to really get to the bottom of which is the best broker right now for zero commissions and also commissions in general. All right, so that's it for me. Again, reminder, guys, questions and comments, put them below. I hope you guys are all subscribed to the YouTube channel for those watching on YouTube. And Monday, 7 p.m., I will be live streaming a webinar on some of the crazy volatility from this week. So I'll put the link for you guys to register to that webinar in the description. All right, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, everyone. You want to learn more about trading? Check out some of the links in my description. And if you have questions, ask them in the comments. I personally respond to every question posted on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe.